Hello, Keith Myers here again, and thought I'd do just a short lesson giving my 2 cents about saps. As people was brought up, it was a question people asked about a sap. I'm not a big fan of saps, but it seems to be kind of the Bartitsu, part of the Bartitsu lore, so to speak, because it was something that was common kind of back in that era when, you know, especially amongst English bobbies who went around unarmed. Something like this was something they carried. But it tended to be a weapon of police officers on the beat and thugs. So it doesn't actually have a very savory reputation. And it goes by different names, and it doesn't seem to be consistent. Sometimes it's called a sap, sometimes a blackjack, sometimes a kosh. Just depends. A slapjack, you hear all kinds of terms for it. Typically, you've got something in leather, and it's filled with something heavy and dense, like lead shot. Okay? Now the idea with a sap is it's a close quarters weapon, and it was used to knock somebody out. So you can imagine if you were a bobby on the streets of London and you were unarmed and you needed to take this guy in and he was resisting arrest, pop upside the head and down he goes, right? Same way if you're a thug, you're trying to mug somebody, you're sneaking up on them. You know, it doesn't happen like in the movies where you just pop somebody in the head and they go down. You need to hit them with something solid. You can imagine sneaking up on somebody in the dark, down they go, they're robbed, off and gone, right? But it can be lethal because it delivers a hell of a blow. It can crack a skull because you can see it's a short weapon. It's easy to carry in the pocket, okay? But a stick of this size is not going to hit as hard. Your fist is not going to hit as hard. Because if you think back to your high school physics, force equals mass times acceleration. If I want to generate a lot of force, I need some good mass and some good acceleration. So I've got lead shot in here, so it's very heavy. It's very short, but that length is heavy. And then I want to put it under a lot of acceleration. So I got this concentrated mass that I can accelerate and I can generate a lot of force. And the reason it hits harder than a stick is because since it's leather, right, it's flexible, right? And so to some extent, it's like popping a towel in gym class or popping a whip. The tip of this thing can move much faster than my hand. So I can get this going, pow, and I can generate some acceleration at the tip that's going to generate a lot of force. More force, again, than just a stick of similar length. Even if it's a heavy lead stick wrapped in leather, which is kind of typically the definition of a kosh, I think. But regardless, this motion, this movement makes a difference in the amount of force you can generate. Therefore, when you're learning to strike with this thing, that snap of the wrist is what's important. Okay? And you see different designs. Another one is called a coin sap, where it's got a pouch and you fill it with coins or lead shot or something heavy, and it's got a snap, so you can snap it on your belt. And then if you need it, you pop the snap loose, and then you've got your sap, right? And that's an attempt to make it seem a little more legal to carry, because I can guarantee you this sucker is illegal to carry in California, because everything is. And there's probably other jurisdictions or states where it's considered illegal as well, because again, it's looked at as a weapon of thugs. And, you know, no self-respecting citizen should have a reason to carry one, right? So anyway, that's kind of my background on saps. And there's not like you need to learn a separate system to use your sap. You just got to learn how to hit with it, because it's not difficult. So let's just talk about some approaches to this. One approach is just take your trusty cane, and if you watch my other videos, just your basic cane strikes you can do with the sap. Of course, it's going to be a close-in weapon, but remember our basic strike, kind of the hit and retract, like that, or from a backhand angle, hit and retract. If I do that with my sap, I've got pow! And that retracting motion that I'm doing with my cane is the pop at the end. Pop! Same way with the backhand angle. I can come across and that pop, pop, boom. The other blow, the more specialty blow that if you watch the cane stuff, is the flip. So I can do the flip this way, or I can come across and I can do a flip this way. And that flipping action, again, is a snap with the wrist, which is important with the sap. And so that's a good way to train for your sap, is to get your cane and practice the flip, right? Get that pop, and get where you can snap the tip of your cane across from either direction. Boom, boom. And then that's directly applicable to this snap with your sap, okay? So, then you hit with it, right? And as you can tell, that can generate a lot of force. That pop, that snapping my wrist, and then that snap goes right to the tip of the sap, generates a lot of force for this dense, heavy weight, okay? Now, another approach to using the sap, if you know how to use a knife, we got one of these, right? Now, the ironic thing is, this is perfectly legal to carry in most places because the blade is less than 3 inches long, where this could be illegal, right? I carry this, and if I get stopped by law enforcement, it's just a tool. I use this at work and at home to open boxes, to cut rope, to cut string, to do all kinds of stuff. Even my funky loop at the end I can justify just by saying, well, it just helps me hold on better, and I can kind of flip down like this and still move things around and still have my knife available without having to put it down somewhere and losing it. I can justify that. How do you justify carrying this other than as a weapon, right? So that's ironic, I think, that this can be, you can sometimes be in better legal circumstances carrying this than this. Go figure. Anyway, if I've got my knife, this is not a knife video, but the best way to use a knife defensively is just cut whatever's coming at you. Stay away as much as you can and cut what's coming. You don't have to do all this fancy stuff that they like to do in Filipino martial arts. It's really not necessary. Stand back, typical stance, you cut what's coming at you until it's not coming anymore. Cut, 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 cut. These snapping cuts. So just a cut, 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 cut. And then I can do that with my sap the same way. Now my cut, instead of being a slice like this, I do it as a snap through, right? Instead of being a backhand slice like this, it's a snap, snap, snap. So again, defensively, I'm standing here and somebody's trying to punch me, grab me, I just smack the hell out of whatever's coming at me. Just beat his arms up. Boom, 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 boom. You can get a little fancier. If you know a little bit of Filipino martial arts, they do guntings or limb destructions where they'll parry something, strike through and hit. Like an extended arm, parry the arm out of the way. So if I'm in my boxing kind of structure and a blow is coming, I can parry it like this, parry it off, and then I can reach up and hit his arm as it goes past. So I've got my sap in that rear hand. I'm here, I parry, and as his arm is going by me, pow! Right across the brachial nerve. Boom! The same way, we've got our blocks with our pugilism that go like this, right? The forearm block. If I've got my sap in hand, a blow's coming. Instead of putting it up this way, I put it up that way, right into the back of his forearm. Pow! Right? Pow! And then I can follow up with whatever I want, right? So that's how you use this. Not the edge, but the flat. Bam! And it hits hard. Okay? Now, the strap, a lot of them have a strap. And that's just so you're not likely to drop it, but you really don't need a strap, because since this is flexible, it's much easier to carry in a pocket than a stick of the same length would be, because it'll conform to your body. It's a lot more comfortable to have it. So if I'm out and about and I've got my sap in a pocket and somebody grabs me, right, I'm this close, I can pull that sap out of my pocket right to the back of the head. Fight's over, right? Or even just here, and just reach down. We're here in a struggle. I pull it out and I just reach down right across the knee. He's going down. So that's where this kind of shines, is in this in-close kind of grapple situation. I can pull it out by surprise and bam, pull it out, bam. You know, pull it out this way, bam. There's my headshot with the cane, right? Bam, right between the eyes. So just play with what you've done before with the sap in hand and see what you come up with. It's not complicated. Okay? That's it for now.